Hey friends, let's talk about February. For being a short month, February was quite busy. I had a lot going on. So, what I wanted to do was kind of share a little bit about what I've been up to. Still working through Indigenous Continent. So, I have just renewed this book for the third time. This is my last chance. so, probably about halfway through. It's a difficult book, right? Because the topic is so heavy that I often have to take breaks. But I'm gonna do what I can. If I have to turn it in, I will, and then I can, make notes to myself and pick it up at a later time if I don't get a chance to finish it. The other book that I have been working with, again, not a surprise, it's my Year of the Hermit journal. And I'm enjoying this so much. It's quickly become my most favorite part of the day to sit with a book, sit with my favorite deck, and pull a card and see what comes up. And every month it never fails. Something will kind of slowly uh, make itself known to me, is the best way that I could say it, because a lot of the questions weave over the course of 2 to 3 days in just different ways, right? But it's been so much fun, a lot of deep insight, and again, times where I had to kind of stick in an extra page in order to get everything in that I wanted. Now, there were a few times in February that I just didn't have time to do the book. And you know what? I was so proud of myself. I allowed myself grace. And on those days, if I didn't get to it, I didn't get to it. So you know what I did? I put stickers in, I doodled. It's okay when you have a practice like this. It's okay if you can't do it every single day, which something like that is really difficult for me, because then I feel like, oh no, I didn't complete it. But it was really nice to be able to do it and to just accept that it is what it is and just let it go. So that's been cool. The other two books that I have been working on are actually guidebooks. If you've been watching my channel for a little while, you know that I'm a huge fan of working with the decks and the guidebook together. And the first one that I will show is the lovely Om. This guidebook, I mean, there's just no other way to say it. It's lovely. It really is. Every time I pull a card and then read what the guidebook shares, it just speaks to me in such a way. It's really beautiful. I have been using this deck as a kind of self-love, self-care, and it's perfect for that. It's perfect for that. And I'm not saying that that's the only way that you could use this deck, but for that purpose, it's just soft and lovely, and the guidebook is amazing. Here, I'll give you an example. So there is the Magician card. It does the very same thing when you are in the minors. You get just as much information. And at the start of each of the suits, it takes a very nice amount of time to kind of get into what that suit means. There's just, you could see all the thought that went into this deck. It's really incredible. The other book that I'm working on is a new deck that I plan to work on, or sorry, a deck that I plan to work with in March. And that is Under the Big Top. That's the name of the book. And the deck is called Cirque du Tarot. This book is a necessity, I feel like, because this is a type of deck that, in a lot of cases, goes its own way. And so, if you want to use the deck in the best way possible, I find it very, very helpful to read the book and learn more about why the different choices were made for all the different cards. I'm going to be working with this deck a bit and doing some, deeper work with it, because I have a feeling that this is going to make an excellent shadow work deck. So, more to come on that. Something that I have been working on the side, and this is not a book, but it does involve a lot of reading. I have been doing some beta reading for a very dear friend, and that has been a lot of fun, very interesting. You learn a lot when you do it. I look forward to being able to continue to collaborate with her in that way. Big moments in the month of February. Well, it was a big one. My son purchased a new car. That was very exciting for him. I felt very proud as a mom to be able to kind of see him through that journey, and the excitement and the ups and the downs, and then being able to take that first ride home with him from the dealership in the car. It was amazing. So that was big for us. We did also have some family come in from out of town, and we were able to spend a day with them out by the beach. So we spent some time at Cape Canaveral and had a very lovely visit. So that was a lot of fun. That was something that I got to do with the kids, and we hadn't road trip like that in quite some time. So it was a lot of fun. And the channel has been quite busy too in February, but I think, like, for me, the greatest highlight was being able to see the beginning of this uh, full moon event. And that's it's something that is really important to me. I have been thinking about this for quite some time, wanting to do something special, but something besides, oh, let's do, full moon readings. I really wanted something powerful, and really, this whole idea was born out of my new drum, right? I picked up a new drum last month, and I wanted to go to a drumming circle. And it just didn't work out, right? My daughter was working that day, and we share a car. And so I just wasn't able to come. And in the meantime, I had a subscriber that left me a comment and said it would be so amazing if you could play the drum one of these days. And, the idea was kind of born from that. I thought, if I can't go to the drumming ceremony, what if I hosted something here myself? And so I knew it was going to be big, and it was hard to do all the things that I wanted to do in my mind, but also, you know, manage the chat, because I wanted to do it live. And so, of course, I reached out to my dear friend Ange, and she was like, "Yes, sign me up." So we did it. It was amazing. It went better than expected. In fact, we loved it so much that we are thinking about doing it on a regular basis. So I look forward to being able to bring that to all of you whenever possible. Because of course there's going to be times where it's just not possible for a multitude of reasons. But for the first one, it was amazing. I mean, we couldn't ask for a better night. The sky was super clear. The fire cooperated. The weather was good. So it was really good. Um, If you didn't get a chance, I would highly recommend taking a look at that video. I did go back and add timestamps in case you were interested in specific sections. We did have a bit of a drumming ceremony. We had a grounding meditation. We did do a reading for the collective. We also did a release, an exercise in release, but not just in releasing, in setting intentions and in observing, the things that we're most grateful for. So it's just an amazing, amazing experience. So I hope if you don't get a chance to attend the next one live, hopefully you'll be able to watch it on the playback. I have been doing quite a bit of journaling this month, actually, because I was working in the Hermit journal, but then I was also in February, I like to do self love, self care, themed readings and questions. And so I was doing the February tarot challenge. I found this online on Instagram. This is hosted by Mystic Star. And I didn't do like the online portion where photograph your cards and make a post, but I did stick with this practice very consistently. And again, a lot of aha moments with these questions and these readings. I used the lovely Om for this challenge, and it was great. I'm a big fan of these tarot challenges, first of all, because it's the perfect way to get to know a deck and to get to know different aspects of yourself, right? Without getting, to the, sometimes you do a big reading, right? You pull, I don't know, 6, 9 cards, whatever. And then it takes time to sit with the cards and the energy and to journal and reflect or meditate or however it is that you go through and absorb the reading. And then there's actually integrating, right? It's not just like, oh, let's do a reading and then, okay, great, I got this card, let's move on to the next day and pull out another card. So it's harder to do that when you do these bigger spreads. But with these tarot challenges, it's just one question, one card, and you can work through these fairly easily. So there's been a lot of journaling going on, but I really like that, like having dedicated quiet time that really quickly became my favorite part of the day. I was rarely ever able to do it in the morning, kind of start my day, which would be amazing if I could do it that way. It just didn't work out, but it was a great way to kind of end my work day and then have that pause and transition into, self reflection work. I really loved it. So, highly recommend. It was a lot of fun for me. And, I hope that you do them at some point. New purchases. So I picked up a few things that I wanted to share. So, first of all, I have been wanting a slab for a very long time, and I picked up this beauty. I mean, she's gorgeous. And right now, I keep this on the altar behind me, but I did use this for monthly readings. It's perfect for laying out a couple of cards. It's very grounding. It feels lovely in the hands. And this is Sean Mu. I'm very sure I'm mispronouncing that. So Sean Mu slab. It comes from the cypress tree, from an area in China. And what they've done, this is an art that has been happening for, you know, generations. And as people have come through and chopped down all of the trees, what the residents of the area were finding is that if they had permission to dig up the root, they would use the root to create with. And that's what this comes from. It's treated in a certain way to bring out its natural color, and it's just stunning. So I have it in slab form. I have seen quite a bit of this in bowl, right? Bowl form. And in those, you can really see, um, the line work. It's just gorgeous. I'm so happy that I have this. And even right now, holding it between my hands, I can feel its energy radiating right into my arms. It's incredible. It really is. I also picked up a new piece of labradorite. So I already have a very gorgeous piece that has like all my favorite, colors. But this piece that I am going to show you is actually a pink and purple lab. It is very difficult to pick up the color indoors, so I'm going to see if I can try. I had this out in one of my videos recently, and I had people asking, like, oh, is that this or that? And I'm like, nope, it's actually labradorite. You can see, oh, do you see those flashes? Do you see that? I mean, on camera, it looks like fire, but in person, they're pink and purple. They're so good. Ah, so beautiful. So yes, this is my newest piece in my collection. The last thing that I picked up for myself is actually something, I think you may have seen this on the channel already, but they are the Charm Cast kit. It's Charm Cast Charm Cast Tarot. Why does that feel like a tongue twister? But anyways, these have been a lot of fun, and I got these because of the ASMR. To me, they sound like dominoes when, you know, they're enamel and they're on the table and you're like shushing them around and everybody's like, trying to get their chips or whatever. So look, here's a reading because one fell out the bag and it wasn't supposed to. Let's see if I can get it to focus. Four of Swords. So get your rest, you guys. And they're just great fun. Great, great fun. I love them. I have been eyeballing them for a while. And the creator, sent a couple of extra little gifts. And I was so happy she sent me a spread cloth. I did not have one. So look how pretty. It's gorgeous. And you can see it's big, and then it has each of the elements on the corners there. It's beautiful. So I'm happy to have that because I did not have one for, I don't know, for whatever reason, I didn't have one. So I'm happy that I have one now. So yeah, that was really sweet of her to do that, to include it as as a gift. All right, let's take a look at the decks that we used in February. So it's my Sasarai Beetle, which lives at my work desk. And of course, my Tarot of Mystical Moments. I gush about this deck all the time. It's my soul deck. And I'll set those aside. I'm not going to open them because, we look at them every single time. So let's look at the decks that I worked with this month. This one I kind of mentioned. It's the Lovely Ohm. This deck is amazing. The guidebook is amazing. And I really enjoyed my time with this deck. And I mean, even this card here is just stunning. All the cards are stunning. But the best part is all the extra information that is included in the guidebook. It's just so good. I love how it ties to so many different things and chakras, and there's a lot of mysticism with these decks. And I've been learning so much about this culture and the various gods and goddesses. And I don't know, just amazing, amazing. And I did work with this deck at one point, but for a very small amount of time, just it wasn't enough. So to be able to focus on this deck for a month was the best thing that I could have done for myself and for the deck. It's been great. So that is the lovely Om. The other deck that I work with, this was a deck actually, here's the card backs. This is a deck that I had in Purgatory for quite some time, and I recently pulled it out and I started using it, and I have really been enjoying my time with it. And it's Mystic Monday, and it's very bright, it's very colorful. This deck is very photogenic and fun. I just, I don't know. I had it in Purgatory because I wasn't sure. Uh, at times it could be a little bit pippish, but it's really been a lot of fun working with it. I actually used this deck for some shorts, and they were well received. People really enjoyed it. So yeah, I'm gonna be keeping this one around for just a little bit longer. It was a lot of fun to work with last Mystic Mondays. The other deck is my Tarot of Oneness. So these are the card backs. This is a new deck for me, and it reads well. I'll say this, it reads well, and I don't know that I am 100% bonded to this deck, and I had a lot of high hopes for it. So my plan is to continue roll this in to March, and continue using it and see how it goes. It's really hard because when I have this on my reading table and I'm doing live readings, like I want to grab every other deck on the desk except for this. So I don't know why, because it's such a cool deck. It's so much fun. It's so unique, the perspective, right? I thought this was going to be such a cool addition to the collection. I love all of the colors, and I like that it's, the perspective as the outsider looking in, right? You don't see figures so much as just maybe a hand here or a foot there. Or in this case, like just the outline of the person. I thought it would be incredible, but I'm struggling with this one just a little bit. I'm not giving up on it just yet. I will give it another shot and roll it into March and kind of see, I'll see what happens with it. So yeah, it's my Tarot of Oneness. The other deck that I wanted to show is the Sufi Tarot. And this is a deck that, again, I was kind of on the fence with this deck. I originally got it because I really wanted to learn about other spiritual practices from other cultures. And I thought that this was going to be a very neat way to do it. And the first go around with the deck was just like me, but then something happened. The more I use this deck, the more and more I fall in love with it. It has been so nice to work with, and my hand goes to this deck all the time. It's an excellent reader. It feels good. I like the cardstock. I like the imagery. I love the stories that I can weave with this deck, and it's just been amazing. So yeah, this isn't going anywhere. I have to be careful because if not, like this could be a deck that like lives at my table all the time. And I really do uh try really hard to bring all the decks into the rotation at some point. And, part of that means putting a deck away, even if it is a favorite. So that is what happened with this deck. I felt like unsure about it. And as I continued to use it, things just started to happen. So that's exactly why we can't always make really quick decisions. I would say in general, I tend to part with decks very quickly. If it doesn't work, like boom, they're out. Because there's so many other cool decks out there that I want, there's no sense in holding on to it if it doesn't work the way that I want it to work. And it's not that they don't work. A lot of times they read well and all the things. Just I want to feel a certain kind of way when I pull decks to use. I want to feel its magic. I want to feel connected to it. And so if I pull out a deck and I'm just like, okay, ho hum, then no, I don't want to keep it. I think in the time that I have been a deck collector, which is going on 5 years now, there is only one deck that I have parted with that I thought to myself, maybe I should bring that back. So it doesn't happen very often. Most of the time, I part with the deck, and it's like, oh, okay. Hopefully, somebody else enjoys it better than I did. But yeah, I can't be too hasty, is what I've learned. Because sometimes you take something out of purgatory and use it again, and then you're like, oh wait, this is cool. So yeah, that's my Sufi tarot. Let's look at oracle decks. So this, oh my gosh, this is a new deck to my collection. I didn't mention it in the new section, but this is my Soul Music Oracle card. And is it upside down? Oh, I think it is. All right. Oh, just one. Don't tell me I put reversals in here. All right. So this is a deck I picked up because February is Black History Month, and this is a printable deck. And I did a whole video on this if you would like to take a look, but it was a lot of fun. I ordered it, of course, because it's a printable. I got it immediately. I sent it directly to the shop for printing. I brought it home. I cut it out. And, when you're working with a deck like that, it really helps you bond and connect with it. And I went with the heaviest cardstock that they had at the shop. Um, but I know that the creator usually prints it on a little bit of a lighter cardstock because then they laminate it. And I chose not to do that with this deck because I love the papery feel of it. So for now, I'm going to use it this way. And if I decide later on that I want to laminate it, guess what? I print out another copy and I could do that. I can have more than one copy because that is the beauty of having a printable deck. It makes it affordable. I think I paid like five and change for the actual PDF and then five and change to print it. So the whole thing was under $11 for me to add this to the collection, and it was so much fun. Sometimes you think, how's that going to work? But it really is. It's a lot of fun to be able to read with the song titles. So that is my Soul Music Oracle. The other deck that I work with, I mean, this is a favorite of mine, so I pull this one out a lot for readings. And this is my fortune cookie. This is my fortune cookie deck. And basically, every single card has a fortune cookie and a message, and then some like photographic image in the background. And this is just So much fun to use. For me, it's like the equivalent of like an 8 ball, right? Where you shake and you get the message. And when I first got this deck and my kids were younger, I used to mess with them all the time and they would ask me things and I'll be like, "Oh, I don't know." And I would pull out a card and that was how I would make my decisions for them and they would get pissed. But I thought it was hilarious. But yeah, this deck is a lot of fun. It's been great using it, and I just keep it right on my desk all the time because it works so well with so many decks. It's awesome. This is the Fortune Cookie Oracle by Be Love and Crystals. And I do believe that this deck, if it's not retired, it's retiring soon. Uh, so yeah, Fortune Cookie. The other Oracle deck that I have used is called the Morgan's Tarot. And it's actually not a tarot, it is an Oracle deck. As you can see, it's super chunky. It has more cards than a tarot deck. You could totally use it that way. But this deck is just funky. And yeah, it feels like this. Like you have to be, having some of this in order to understand it. But it's so like in your face and so sarcastic at times. It definitely has a vibe, a mood, and I find that when I pull cards from this deck to supplement our reading, it's exactly what I need, for that reading. It's just really cool. So sometimes I am afraid of this deck because you never know how this deck is going to be perceived by people when they ask for readings. But sometimes I just can't help myself. I have to pull it out because it's just so good. So this is the Morgan's Tarot. And yes, it is a trip. The last oracle deck that I worked with is this one here. This is Siege from Sacred Feminine. And these are the card backs, which is not the reason why I got the deck. The reason that I got the deck was because of this gorgeous, gorgeous artwork. And I just love this deck. And its messages come in so handy depending on the type of reading that I am doing. And I just love to keep it close by because I like to use it. I love the artwork. I love the energy of this deck. It's incredible. I'm so happy that I added this. I added this to my collection specifically to work with a tarot deck. But I don't only use it with that deck. I use it all the time independently. It's just amazing. It's a great, great deck. And it has such good messages, and the guidebook is well done. It's been amazing. This was such a great collaboration between the artist and the woman who wrote the guidebook. It's been great working with it. Now, two decks that were surprise decks. They were not meant to come out, but they came out anyways. One is a deck that is new to my collection. It is the Earth Woman Tarot. These are the card backs. And this is a deck I received for the holidays. It's such a great deck, such a great reader. I got this because I am a huge, huge fan of Tarn Ellis, the illustrator. And I just had to have it. And then once I got it, the deck reads so well. It was amazing, and I used it in January, and it was incredible. And then I put it away so I could bring other decks into the rotation. But this deck did come out a couple times because that's just how it is. Sometimes I feel like I need her, so I bring her out. She's great. I love this deck. I'm gonna be doing a deep dive study with this. Actually, it starts now, March 1st. So more to come on this little beauty. I can't stop looking at her. My last surprise deck, my Shadowscapes. This deck is like I can't even. Like, she is just so good. And this deck is very chatty. We talk about all kinds of things. She's like a BFF. She's like a BFF. She tells me everything, and she's always looking out for me. I just love her. And so this is a deck that typically I only use for myself. And I did have an incident this month where I needed her. You know, when you have a situation and you're like, okay, this, I need to pull out the big guns, right? And you know exactly who you need to call that's gonna listen to you and support you and say all the right things. For me, it's this right here, this deck. She's just so great. Her story is beautiful. This deck is falling apart. I don't care. This deck was, having a near death experience, and I brought it back. How about that? I brought her back. I did the best that I could. In some cases, almost ruined her, but it's fine. I still work with her. I would never replace her. I would never replace her because she's just so good. Although sometimes I'd be lusting over the bigger size because the artwork in this is so good. See? But you have to get really, really close to see everything. And I know that there's a Czech version of this deck that is slightly bigger. Wouldn't that be cool to add that? Oh, it would be hard because then I would have a hard time, like doing something else with this deck because I love her. Like, I'm not kidding. Sometimes I even sleep with her. Put her next to my pillow. I put her next to my pillow. She's awesome. This is Shadowscapes, and I adore her. Now for the nerdy stuff. I have been including this in my videos, and it's just a lot of fun for me to kind of track what I've been up to and give myself the opportunity to celebrate these little milestones and accomplishments. So, this month, as small as it was, I was able to put out 6 videos. I'm even still surprised by that. 6 videos. In the beginning, I was aiming to do 2 videos per week. It started to become a challenge, and I cut back to 1. Sometimes I am able to do 2, but it really just depends on what's going on around me. So this past month, I was able to put out 6 videos. I had 28 shorts come out this month. I hosted 5 lives. That's big for me, right? Because I tend to be the person that goes to other people's channel all the time. I rarely host on mine. So it was a flip this month, and I started hosting more on my channel. So I was able to host 5 lives. And then in addition to that, I had 3 lives that I participated in on other channels. So that's a lot. 8. That's 8 lives. uh, but it was so good, and the themes this month were so nice, and working, in that overall space of self-love, and self-care, and all the work that comes with it, and how you could actually do it. That was something. I work with crystal energy a lot, so I did a lot of work with my crystals. I did a lot of readings with them. I did some crystal gridding, a lot of intention setting, tons of journaling and insights. So it was a very packed month, and I feel good about February. And now we're, wrapping this up and getting ready for March. I can already see the weather is starting to kind of shift, and it really feels like spring is in the air. This is like the perfect time of year right now, where it's like cooler in the evenings and then warm and comfortable during the daytime. What I wish that it was like year round, but It's not. It's not. So I'm enjoying the weather for the time being because soon we'll be in those super hot and humid months, and that's a challenge. Those 3 months of summer, four really, if you think about it, like those months are really, really hard here. So the humidity level is like insanity, and you'll likely be seeing my hair like this or tied away from my face because it gets super poofy and super frizzy with the weather. But yeah, that is what I have. That's my recap. Thank you so, so much for being a part of everything, for all of the likes, for all of the comments, for the sharing, for coming to the lives. It The big part of the reason that I do this channel is because of that need for community and for connection. For me, that's really important, and that is my favorite part of the day is checking in with everybody in the community and sharing ideas and inspiring each other to do different things. So I look forward to being able to continue to do that. And I thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I thank you so much for being here, for subscribing, for listening to my antics. I love you guys.